Hi, it's me, Jordan T, reviewing the best episode of RuPaul's Drag Race ever. I mean, literally, you can check it out on the Internet Movie Database. Ding! Alright, so the episode begins with Raja walking in after winning $25,000, which is an awful lot. Could you imagine winning $25,000? That's a quarter of the entire grand prize of every season of RuPaul's Drag Race. Making you wonder if the grand prize isn't a bit lackluster by now, because they are all getting these tips, especially in All-Stars. Winning stuff is getting more important than winning the season. But eventually, winning stuff will lead to you winning the season, so it's a bit of a vicious circle. However, this is almost the entire amount of the grand prize of RuPaul's Drag Race Down Under. So Raja is very happy with winning that amount of money, and honestly, who wouldn't be? Ginger gets a bit emotional because of the fact that she voted on her friends. It will be hard for her to find that out. Maybe on the comeback episode of this season, she will already find that out. We will get a bit of a reaction to it. Or if we are getting a reunion, they will talk about it there. So Trinity is saying that she didn't vote Yara because of the fact that Yara voted her previous week. But it feels a bit like she is giving like excuses, and I mean, you can't blame her for voting Yara, but at least be honest about it. You know, you're playing a game, and by obviously lying, you are making other people suspicious of what game you are playing. So, I mean, just be honest and it would be better. So the queens enter the workroom the next day. Silky is looking like a white cow stunning. Again, there's no mini challenge, so the queens are sorted from short to tall to split up in pairs for the challenge. Finally, when the challenge begins, they are discussing what they're gonna do. Finally, we are getting some Pandora box footage, and I'm really glad to see so, because Pandora herself has been saying online that she is a bit disappointed in the lack of screen time that she is getting, so it's always good to see Pandora. Yara is getting crazy again. I feel like this season she is going full Tammy Brown. I don't mind it, it's always fun to have a crazy one among them. So the queens are preparing their commercials, and Scarlett doesn't know what crunches are. Okay girl, anyone who's been to a gym knows what crunches are, right? But okay, maybe Scarlett is a natural beauty and she hasn't been to the gym a lot. So Kylie is worried about preparing the challenge, and I kind of get that. She is from a different era of Drag Race where challenges weren't the same and the stakes are, well, let's face it, they are higher than in the earlier seasons. And Silky is a bit overwhelmed as well. Well, she isn't overwhelmed, but she is holding back because of all the hate that she has been getting after her season. It's just heartbreaking to see, but we'll talk about that later on. So she is getting an awful lot of confessional shots and screen time, and you know, you already start to worry about her. Afterwards, Ru walks in this gorgeous outfit. It's a bit bluish, purplish. You know, if it was a bit more blue, she should have worn that on the Blue Ball episodes. I honestly didn't understand why Ru didn't wear anything blue in that episode, because Michelle and Carson were doing that. Like, Ru, come on. So the guest judge is Tia Mowry from Twitches. I don't know if you are familiar with that movie. It's a Disney Channel original movie back when Disney Channel was still a thing and we didn't have Disney Plus. The good old days. Let's do it like they do it on the Disney Channel. But yeah, Tia Mowry. The category of this episode is Redemption. It's a category that we've only seen on All-Stars 3 before, and it's good to see this category back because it is giving the queens a chance to show their growth and refer back to their original season, which is always fun. I always found it weird that we didn't see it on All-Stars 4 and All-Stars 5. Maybe it was because of a lack of time. Because when the category was announced on All-Stars 3, I was like, okay, now this is fine. We're doing this every season, like the variety show, but it didn't return. So very glad to see this category back. First walks the runway, Kylie Sonique Love. I love this. This is a Lady Gaga look, and as Michelle said, it is still very unique too. And I've referred to that in the previous review. Kylie is one of those queens who has a very strong brand and very strong aesthetic. And this look is completely embodying Kylie, so really love this. The only thing that I'm worried for is this is the second time that Kylie has almost done an exact replica of a look, because with the denim outfit in the Blue Ball, she wore a Christina Aguilera replica as well. So I hope that from now on we will be seeing more original looks from Miss Kylie. Next up is Scarlet. This is so much better than the first look. This fabric is just gorgeous, and the way it moves and everything about this is just so good. And when she entered in her first look, I always thought there was missing something, and it was a bit, you know, you could add more to the look. And now this is completely what I've expected from that first look. We've come full circle with this look. She entered in this soon to become a masterpiece, and now she entered in a masterpiece. Next up, Eureka. I'm gonna say this right away. I like the previous one better. You know, if you've switched those two looks and you told me that this look was their look on the original season, I would have believed so. It's more simple than the original look. So, expected more from Eureka. It's still a gorgeous look, don't get me wrong, but this wasn't an elevated look from what they wore before. So okay, decent, but Then Raja walks in this look, and it is much better than the original one. She was getting critiques because of the pants that she wore, and those are completely gone now. She walks out in a beautiful dress, still with the same unique concept. And I like everything about this. I really love that she has this green eyebrows. It is really crazy, and if it was one of Raja's looks, it would have to be this one that got a remix. The next look is by Miss Pandora. I enjoyed this look. It is a pretty look, but I enjoyed the first one more. It was more unique, and this one is just... I think it's the same as I said with Eureka. Pandora did mention on socials that they didn't have the chance to choose which look they were doing. So, you know, if the producers told her that she had to do this look and she wasn't really feeling this look, I think this wasn't the best look for her to do on the Redemption runway. Next up is Yara. This look is okay. I like it. I really like the contact lenses. She wore that as well on All Stars 1. And I always like those, so it gives a bit of a unique, not to say creepy, but non-human vibe to it, I believe. I always like it when queens do these contact lenses. This look was fun. Yeah, I loved it. The next queen is Trinity. She is looking gorgeous. This look is very cool. You have all these details and everything is just perfect. Gives me a bit of a evil protagonist vibe. I literally can't say anything bad about this look, and I can only praise it. So yeah, Trinity looking great, looking fabulous. This is everything that I would expect from a Redemption runway. Next up is Jan, and this look hasn't been getting an awful lot of praise, but I do believe that it's a nice look. She is looking gorgeous. The dress is very similar to the look that she wore on her entrance, but again, these queens didn't have the chance to choose which looks they were redoing, and I believe that Jan had better looks for this runway. But okay, so she had to do this one. It is still a nice look. She is looking gorgeous. The makeup, the wig, the dress, similar to the first look. I don't agree that this look was that bad, so yeah, I liked it. Oh, I can already see the dislikes. Ding! Ginger walks out, and this look has been critiqued online as well. It's a bit of a weird look, but I like this more than most people did probably, because you are not just doing a remix of your first look, but it is looking a bit different as well, and there's still similarities to the original look. However, we have to be honest, it's not perfect. There are a lot of things going on this look that are not polished, but I like the look. I like the thing that she wore on her face. It is giving me Sasha Velour. Next up is Silky with the Good Old Milk. This is a kind of a mix of the look that she was told to do and the look that she wore on the Queens Everywhere remix. It is red again. Silky likes to wear red, and she likes to have all of these, how do you call that? I believe it's frills thingies on her outfits. This isn't a bad look. It's just something that I feel like we've seen from Silky before. I feel like although I am saying that I've had the feeling that we've seen this before from Silky, this is the best that Silky has ever looked on the runway to me. I think this is truly gorgeous. Silky is showing that she really elevated her drag. I believe she isn't doing her eyebrows with the Sharpies anymore as well. So Miss Silky is doing well on the runway. It's so unfortunate that she held back in the challenge. But okay, again, we'll talk about it later. Finally, we have Miss Body, Miss A'keria. As always, she is looking gorgeous. Nothing bad to say about it, honestly. However, something that is important to me, just as with the makeover challenge, you have to have similarities. And where did that butterfly go? I expected there to be butterflies on her body somewhere because you had this giant butterfly on the first look. Maybe she should have put butterflies on her top and then do a reveal where the butterflies flow out, huh? Don't do that. It is time for the commercial challenge. The queens were told to make commercials that sell a sickening side hustle. A very broad challenge. I think you can go broad with this, and that's positive because you have to stay unique, especially on All Stars. The first group is Exercise Queens. Eureka is doing great. This is one of those parts that only Eureka would be able to do because they have no problem in going all the way in these challenges. They have no problem in making a bit of a fool, not a fool, but you know, not caring what people say about you and just going full in for that comedy aspect in challenges. And I really appreciate that they are doing so. However, a lot happened in this sketch, but I remember none of it. I only remember, you know, Eureka being on the beds, and I remember them breaking the beds, but that's the only thing that I remember, and breaking the bed was a part of the rehearsals, and I shouldn't only remember the recordings. I should remember the sketch on itself as well. Next up is the Fix It Bleep. Raja is wearing something that is close to her promo look on season 11, and this group was great. It was funny. Sometimes in these commercial challenge, I have a feeling that I'm watching something and I'm not really understanding what is playing in front of my eyes. And with this one, I completely understood what they were doing, what they were saying. I understood all of the jokes. And I feel like Pandora isn't getting enough praise for this because she did have experience in commercials. So give the queen some praise. Because of that, they had a great challenge and they did win the challenge. Finally, we have the Rent the Queen group. A'keria is struggling, and she is the only one shown that is struggling. So you already know that, well, she is winding up in the bottom. Then Ginger is wearing the Jan robe again. First, we've seen it in the season 12 reunion. Then Rosé wore it. Then Jan wore it on All Stars. And now Ginger is wearing it on All Stars. So I feel like the Jan robe is getting more screen time than Pandora. I did like when Ginger does this crazy Richard Simmons voice. Same as with Eureka, she isn't afraid to go all the way and just have fun with it and just don't care what anybody thinks about you. Jan is doing well in the challenge, but same as with Silky, you can tell that she is holding a bit back. Alright, so let's take a look at my top 3 and my bottom 2 or all 4. I do think that the winning team should have been the Fix It Bitch, and the judges thought so as well. So for the winner, I put Trinity or Raja because Raja was pretty funny in the challenge as well, but eventually I did put Trinity there. I'm glad that Trinity is finally getting some praise, well, of the judges, not of the other queens. And the losing team, I would have put the Rent the Queen team as well because, okay, they were better. The sketch was better than The Exorcist, but the outfits were a bit more, not to say lackluster, but the Exorcist challenge outfits were overall better. And then bottom 2, I would have put Silky and A'keria. I know there's not an official bottom 2, but they put themselves in the bottom eventually, so the queens head backstage and Trinity is sitting there like annoyed that they are not praising her for winning a challenge because they did praise Raja for that. I can understand that she is a bit annoyed by that. Then she's giving her Emmy speech and they give her this shady edit that nobody is really listening to her. I feel like they are still getting Trinity a shady edit, same as with season 6. Then she tells Jan to ease her mind, relax, it will be okay. And then she tells A'keria to ease her mind and tells Ginger to ease her mind. And then she tells, you know, they are aware that she is just telling that to anybody. So Silky says one thing to Jan, and I feel so bad for her because she says one thing and immediately she's afraid that people are gonna hate on her and she's gonna be attacked by the fan base again. It shouldn't be like this. You should join the show and just be yourself and should just enjoy the journey because Drag Race is a crazy journey and it should be a crazy journey in the positive way, not in the negative way. Yeah, it's very unfortunate. Next up we have the lip sync, which is one of the best lip syncs ever, and everything about Laganja's entrance and her exit was just perfect. You know, she entered the same way as she entered season 6. She exited the same way as she went home on season 6. And I just love this. We've come full circle. This was just perfect and I couldn't have wished for anything like this. She did slay Trinity in the lip sync, although I do think that in the beginning of the song, Trinity was paying attention to the entire vibe of the song, so I thought at first that she was going to win, but then Laganja pulled the stones and it became clear who was the winner of the lip sync. Silky is sent home. It's a bit of an emotional elimination, and to be honest, I was tearing up as well because we've had this entire episode surrounding around the fact that Silky was holding back, and honestly, I wouldn't have wanted A'keria to go home, but I was expecting Silky to still be saved. So it was a storyline of the episode that she was holding back, but now she was able to get her redemption after this episode, and she knew what she was worth and stuff like that. But we didn't, and it was the bad ending where she did get defeated by part of the fan base, which is so sad. But then, right before she goes home, we see that 1 hour later segment of the episode, we might get a Silky redeeming herself, not caring anymore about what other people think about her storyline after all. So I'm really excited to see this. I'm really excited to see what the entire twist of the season will be and where that will lead us. So in Untucked, finally we are getting some Pandora screen time. Thank you for that. We are seeing Laganja enter. She is expecting the grand door to open for a queen. And again, everything is great about her. I didn't expect Laganja to return because it's been like 7 years ago. But we did see Laganja again, and it was everything that we could have ever wished for. She is one of the queens that showed the most redemption of all the All-Star seasons, and she's just a lip-sync assassin. So just imagine what she could have done. Hopefully we'll see her return fully as well. But what I do love about the lip-sync assassin part is that they return as a professional without production searching for their vulnerabilities and stuff like that. They just enter as a professional, do their thing, and they leave as a professional again. I think that is showing a queen's worth the most. In the rest of Untucked, we are seeing the friendships of season 11. We see Silky and A'keria. They did really volunteer as bottom two, as Scarlett says. We know why Silky did so. And we see this beautiful talk between Scarlett and Raja. We see the mirror message that Silky is leaving on the mirror. She is leaving hashtag Black Lives Matter, Trans Lives Matter. I really love this about her. I think that if you are still hating on Silky, you are not seeing what a beautiful person she is. Alright, and the quote of this episode is, I mean, you can already guess this. But okay, the quote of the episode is, "Come on, All-Star 6, let's get sickening, okay." Alright, so this was my review of the best episode of RuPaul's Drag Race ever. Not a joke, just a fact. If you want to see more like this, subscribe and stay tuned to see more of Jordan T. Deuces!